What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be answering the big question like you saw in the title of the video. Should you buy a 6.0 Powerstroke? Well, let's get into it. So first off, to start, these are going to be my personal opinions from my experiences and people that I know personally experiences with these trucks. I'm not a diesel mechanic. I'm not saying this is just from my experience. So with that out of the way, let's just get the elephant out of the room here. If you want a 6.0 Powerstroke, you should always be ready to possibly repair it. I'm not saying you should always be ready to repair it and it's gonna have your typical problems. I'm just saying it's possible and you should always be ready for it. You should never expect the perfect truck without have that little word in the back of your head saying, hey, it's a 6.0, it could break, it could not break, you don't know. And that's really what it is with this truck. So that's the first thing about these. 6.0s are a gamble. You can either get super lucky and have a stock truck that goes forever, 500, 600,000 miles. I've seen it quite a few times. Or you can be the guys that are going to be hating in the comments saying they had one with 70,000 miles and the motor blew up on them and it's just a piece of junk. And you should never buy a 6.0. It's the most unreliable truck on the road. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the 6.4, way worse. Way worse. So this is way better than that. So you got that going for you. Now to start with my personal experience, this is my second 6.0. My first one was a 2007. So that truck there was completely stock. It didn't have that exhaust on it, so it was a 5-inch exhaust. I sold it at 110,000 miles or so. I bought it down to the 70,000 miles, somewhere around there. And that truck I had zero issues with, absolutely nothing. I did my regular oil change and my fuel filter change. I owned it for a little over a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was. And I sold it for a great deal on an F-150, which obviously didn't last long. So that's my great experience with the truck, which is possible. You can find trucks like that. It was maintained. You can see it was a retired fire crew chief truck, so I imagine they maintained it very well. And that truck gave me zero issues. And getting into this truck, this here is a 2006 Powerstroke. I have 101,000 miles. I just crested 100,000 miles personally during the ownership. And this truck's been pretty good. It's given me a couple problems. Firstly, I blew the turbo seal somehow. It happens. I had to replace the IPR valve on a crank no start situation I had during the winter time last year. That was fun. And just for the variable turbo, the sensor that controls the vanes, I had to replace that, which I was cheap, and I did at home in my driveway in less than an hour. So, I mean, realistically, this truck, other than the turbo, it's been great to me. Now, you're probably wondering what's done to this truck. Nothing. It's got an EGR delete. So, okay, there's something. It's got an EGR delete and an exhaust. Other than that, it's completely stock. I regularly maintain it. The previous owner, I'm the second owner of this truck. The previous owner used it just to tow. And he had the paperwork from the shop for the EGR delete. And he had all the paper for any maintenance. Which is why I bought this truck with no head studs, nothing. And now we're going to get into, from that, if you are looking to buy a 6.0 Powerstroke, what kind of truck should you look for? Whether it be all the work's been done to it or completely stock. So from what I've seen, the best 6.0 you can find and that you should buy is one that's had the work done to it. EGR delete is the best versus the bulletproof one. Unless you're in like California and you have to worry about the emissions sticklers. We're not this bad in Idaho. I passed emissions a month ago like this. So the one that has worked on the EGR delete, the head studs, head gaskets. If you're looking for a truck with all the work done, my advice would be to find one that has work done, but has the paperwork to go along with it. Of course, you can open the hood, see if it's got the aftermarket head studs. If it does, great. But honestly, if they don't have the paperwork for it, and if they're just saying, yeah, it was done, I had a shop do it, but they don't have the paperwork for that, a bad head stud job is worse of a truck than a stock 6.0. So really, unless you know who did it or that it was professionally done per se, it can be a riskier buy than just buying a stock truck, because at that point you know the motor hasn't been opened up and you know it hasn't been messed with and tinkered with, just some rinky-dink backyard job. Which, not saying that's not bad, some people know what they're doing, but I'm saying other people don't know what they're doing, and they possibly did it that way because they didn't have the money or whatever it might have been. Now, so you can either find the one with the paperwork, or in my case, a stock truck. So the thing you want to look for in a stock truck, unless you're looking for a cheap buy that you're going to do all the work to, you can find one with a lot of miles and just pay the money to get it bulletproofed, and then you're good to go. But in my case, I bought this with 94,000 miles. It was one previous owner, and that previous owner had all the paperwork from any of the maintenance he had done to it. Your typical oil changes, fuel filter changes, the EGR, he had the paperwork for the shop that did that, which was a local shop down here in Idaho. And he kept track of all the work he's ever done to it and all the maintenance he's ever done to it. So he clearly showed me that this truck has been taken care of. It hasn't been beaten. It was an older gentleman that just used it to tow, and it was taken care of. So that's the big thing you want to look for if you look for a stock truck, because if you see, I'm not saying all the younger guys are the ones doing it, but a younger guy has this truck, he's got a hot tuner on it and it's stock, but he's been ripping it around, it's got an exhaust. If you expect to put a hot tune on this truck stock and rip it around, well, you should expect to probably replace your head gaskets and get head studs, because these are trucks and they're meant to be used as such. They're not race cars. They sound great, but they're not race cars. So if you look into a truck that's just been beat up, honestly, you should expect to have to pay to fix it at that point. But I'm going to give you a fair warning right now. If this isn't a sight you don't want to see, the hood open, side of a road, it might happen. Just be ready for it. So, should you buy a 6.0 Powerstroke? I think they're great trucks. They're, dare I say it, reliable if you take care of them and you keep up on maintenance and you don't beat the crap out of it and you use it for what it's for, and not racing your local hoodlums at 2 in the morning every night, every weekend. If you use it like it should be and take care of it like it needs to be, it's a fantastic truck and it's going to last you a long time. Diesels last way longer than a gas truck, your F-150s, Chevys, whatever you're into. They last way longer, they have more power, they're better for towing, they sound way better. Best sounding diesel on the market, by far. But really, if you take care of them, they're gonna make you happy, and they're gonna do what you need them to do. Plus, they look fantastic. The aftermarket community for this truck is phenomenal. The capabilities of this truck, for example, my truck here, it's leveled 1.5 inches. I'm on 35 by 11.6 inch tires on 20 by 10 wheels, and I had to trim a tiny bit. That's it. There's not a lot of trucks out there that you can just throw 35 under that easy with little trimming and it looks this good. Come on. But they're just, the community behind these trucks, well, that can be a hit or miss. Your forums on Facebook or just online forums, it's going to be half and half of, you're going to have a lot of haters in there for some reason, or you're going to have a lot of people that are going to support you and actually try to help you, give you information that's going to, if you have a problem, post it in there, but hey, this is happening, they're going to be like, oh, sweet, so this is what I've had happen with my truck, and then you're going to have a couple guys, oh, cool, sell it, you blew your head gaskets, they're over, your truck's done, gotta go. No. So the community behind this truck is pretty good as well. Overall, it's an older truck, it's been out a long time, a lot of people have dealt with pretty much every issue. If you take it to your local diesel shop, they've seen them before, they've been in, they know what they're doing, they've dealt with every single possible issue this truck could have. So I mean, the community behind them is phenomenal, and realistically, it's a phenomenal truck. But the big thing is always be prepared to spend money, but don't expect to always spend money, because you could be one of the ones like my last truck where you have to spend zero money on it and you're good, you're golden, you have a truck for a couple 100,000 miles that you don't have to put anything but regular maintenance into. So that's going to be my answer. Should you buy a 6.0 Powerstroke? Yes, if you like the trucks. Yes, if you're okay with possibly spending money on it, and no if you're not. That's the basic thing. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Hit like and subscribe if you want to see more videos on this truck, and I'll see you next time.